cube drafting, I don't know what to take out of this pack.
So I ended up taking the Mana Crypt. That was actually pack 3, and I was already pretty set in what I was doing. So Oko wasn't really an option, even though I had the Mox Emerald at that point. I was only in black and white. I was not going to add 2 more colors just to run Oko. But I took the Mana Crypt over the Sol Ring because my deck was pretty low to the ground and I wanted to just hit the floor running. If you play a Sol Ring on turn 1 with your Swamp or your Plains, you're left with 2 colored mana and not a whole lot to do. You play a Mana Crypt turn 1 and your Swamp or Plains, now you're talking about dropping a 3-drop on turn 1 since you have your colored mana to use. So, yeah, so my mana base, this is a cube draft deck, so typically you want around 17 lands out of your 40 cards. You can go a little lighter in my cube because a lot of this stuff is cheaper. However, in this, because I had so much ramp, I actually went with 13 lands, which is pretty low. So we had the Mana Crypt, we had the Mox Emerald, Lotus Petal, and Dark Ritual for ramp, Scrubland, which can be searched out by my Polluted Delta, Ash Barrens to get either a Plains or a Swamp, and then I ran 5 Plains and 5 Swamps. So let's get into the deck. We had Blood Artist, which does its Blood Artist thing whenever a creature dies. Midnight Reaper, whenever a creature I control dies, I can draw a card. Now we have some self-sacrificing stuff if we evoke these creatures. We had Grief and Solitude, which I was very fortunate the Solitude came back around to me, but that pack was so loaded with cards. I was surprised, but also not surprised that Solitude came back. To sacrifice, we have some sacrifice outlets, Carrion Feeder, Bloodthrone Vampire. Rankle is a little bit slower. You can only do it once and you have to make contact in combat. But it also makes your opponent sacrifice at the same time as you, but you're doing it for value, so it's a little better. Fodder, we have Reassembling Skeleton, Spirited Companion, which draws you a card when it comes in. Inspiring Overseer does the same thing. We have Lingering Souls for some fodder. Legion's Landing, which if you don't know this card, it makes a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink when it enters, and then you can make some more tokens once you flip it. You have to attack with 3 or more creatures to transform it. Sedgemoor Witch, I did manage to drop this turn 1. I had Mana Crypt Swamp, dropped Sedgemoor Witch turn 1. It's a 3/2 menace. That in itself on turn 1 is pretty hard to deal with. The word pay 3 life, you're going to pay 3 life to get rid of this. But the rest of the game, while it's sitting out here, it's making me little pest tokens to sacrifice. We had, for removal, we have Primaris Eliminator, and the top end of the deck is Elesh Norn, the Grand Cenobite, which both can give my opponent's creatures -2/-2. I'm sorry, I know it's hard to read that one. But most of you know what this does, but in case you don't, this has Vigilance. It gives all my creatures +2/+2, gives all my opponent's creatures -2/-2. So just neutering my opponent's board with Elesh Norn is great, and Primaris Eliminator can do the same thing temporarily. For disruption, I have some Thoughtseize, Get Lost, a Dismember, Heartless Act, and then I had Call the Ring in there for a little bit more card draw, Giver of the Runes to protect my creatures, and Sheoldred the Apocalypse is just a house and a fantastic card. And then Demonic Tutor, what's better than the best card in your deck? Having 2 of them. So Demonic Tutor goes and gets either Sheoldred or Elesh Norn, but it can also just be a removal spell if I need to go get some removal real quick. So that was the deck. It was a lot of fun to play. Thanks for watching my deck video about it.